So I want to be clear. There are different ways someone can be high value. You can be high value in status because of the environment that you're in. You can be high value in your team because you bring in the most revenue. You can be high value in a market because you have the highest production value. However, when we use these terms, we're usually referring to the intersexual dynamics and the relationships between men and women. And the reason it's important to clarify this is because this is what we're going to be addressing today. What makes men and women high value to the opposite sex is different. You can have an individual who is high value to the market, but not necessarily to the opposite sex. You can have a guy who is incredibly emotionally intelligent, very empathetic, and can get on with anyone, but he doesn't have a level of economic stability and he doesn't really stand up for himself as much as he should. To which to most women, he would be considered a high value man. A man who can't stand up for himself, how's he going to stand up for her? Equally, you can have a woman who earns a lot of money and is the top performer at her company. Yet she may not attract men because maybe she doesn't dedicate enough time to look after herself mentally and physically. She doesn't have a healthy lifestyle or doesn't invest in her own emotional growth. High value to the company, not necessarily to men. So with that being said, what does actually make a feminine woman a particular high value woman? Now, while this may be one of the defining signs, it's not that you need a man to determine your high valueness. However, the caliber of man that you're with is a key indicator of the kind of woman you are, or if you have men of quality wanting to serve you in general. When I say serve you, I don't mean at your beck and call day and night. Of course, these men of value still have respect for themselves and for their time, but I mean they actively want to do things for you, to take care of you in some way. Men of value who are strong, have purpose, are driven, make no qualms about wanting to serve and invest in a woman in some way, because that's how he shows his interest in her. A feminine woman who radiates that energy into the world and into the universe invites that masculine service into her life. And this isn't limited to just high value men. It may not even be a man that you're seeing, but it also applies to men who interact with you in the world. Men who want to serve you in extra ways where they can, whether that's offering to carry your bag, giving you a better seat on the coach, or letting you on the coach when you made a mistake with your ticket. These gifts come when you radiate that feminine energy. Honestly, this is literally why pretty privilege is a thing. Pretty privilege are feminine women who invite masculine service into their life. Does pretty privilege ever apply to guys? Yeah, in some cases. But when we describe someone having pretty privilege, we are almost exclusively talking about women. And while attractiveness does play a major factor in a woman's pretty privilege, because, taking care of yourself and presenting your beauty is a big part of being feminine, it's also her energy, that feminine energy she carries. It's the entire aura of her presence, her energy, her spirit. Because there are women who are objectively attractive, but they don't have that much pretty privilege. They don't get that extra service from the world. And that's because while on paper they may tick those aesthetic metrics, she isn't radiating and giving out that feminine energy. Because there will be women who maybe are objectively less attractive than she is, but because they sit in their feminine, they have men wanting to serve them in some way. They still manage to have that pretty privilege effect in their surroundings. Now, there's something else that is very unique and very special about this kind of woman. Something that makes her high value, especially men valuing this in her, is that she is an expert at extrapolating information from any and the majority of environments and individuals. The thing about a woman who sits high in her femininity is that she encompasses that empathetic energy and space. So when people converse with her, she makes them feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable with her, vulnerable enough to share their innermost thoughts, feelings with her. And this gives her a lot of power. And this is where a lot of value comes in high status environments. Because especially in our day and age, information is power. So if you have someone who is really good at extracting resources and information from multiple environments and people, that is an incredibly powerful woman. To be able to quickly read someone's temperament, their mood, their desires, and then accommodate to them, that makes them feel heard and seen in a way that many people don't. The level of influence this has is huge. This is one of the reasons why intelligent feminine women are valued so highly, especially amongst influential or powerful men. Because often at times, a lot of men who are in positions of some kind of power, their entire existence in that position is one of competition. Every waking moment, they're thinking of how can they outcompete their opponents? How can they outplay their competitors? And it's funny because a lot of their competitors that they're, competing against, they move in the same circles as them. They go into the same press events, they're invited to the same productions or conferences. Maybe they're invited to speak at said production events or conferences. And maybe they'll all be watching and listening to each other doing this because they're trying to size each other up. When a man of influence and a man of value is in a position of power, it is invaluable to him to have a woman who is high in her feminine in these kinds of environments, because she can get certain information about person A through person B about person C. She knows how to have a conversation, recognize who she needs to talk to learn something beneficial that not only serves herself, but serves her relationship as a team and maybe even serves his purpose. Studies have shown that people are more likely to open up to a feminine friendly face than a strong masculine stern face. And a man of value and intelligence doesn't pretend that he can do everything in the best way. He recognizes that sometimes he needs that feminine touch to get an edge over his competitors. But there is one thing that truly sets a feminine woman out from all others. She has an unwavering commitment to growth. Now, I don't mean necessarily in her career, although truth be told, it's not that she wouldn't want to grow in her career, but she makes growing in herself more of a priority. This requires empathy towards herself, accountability of her choices, and openness to receive. The feminine receives from the world. And in order to receive gifts and favors the universe has for her, she has to be open to it. And yes, this takes a level of vulnerability. And I get the world isn't exactly a nice place. So it makes sense for the masculine side to be in the driver's seat to protect the feminine in you. I get that. But part of becoming a feminine, high-value woman that men crave is to recognize the environments that you can choose to be in so that you don't have to protect yourself with your masculine, as well as recognize the environments that are not safe for your feminine. Being in a place of trusted friends and family, yes. Going around a guy's house who just matched on Tinder that night, not so much. She understands that the energy that she has to share is pure and powerful, but only in safe and accommodating environments can she share that authentically, understanding that the energy she has is a gift for her to share. And so with this mindset and your commitment to growth, it is inevitable that you will start to be surpassing everybody else, and you will begin to receive rewards in life from areas that you least expected. So if you're ready to invite that great guy into your life, that strong masculine guy, then enroll in my Claim Your Man program below, where I show you how to do just that. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, keep it slick.